How to market direct to title companies and earn more money as a notary signing agent. So this is my playbook, high level, on how I have built my notary signing agent business from part-time when I first started to full-time 3 weeks later, and quit my full-time W-2 job and beyond when I started my signing service after that. So I have probably farmed out and acquired somewhere in the vicinity of, I don't know, 100 plus direct clients in title offices and title companies specifically that have used me and my signing service. And I'm going to give you the exact play-by-play of how I acquire direct business. So for me, what works the best is marketing directly to title companies. Now, if you're in certain states, I'm in Maryland, you may actually be marketing to title companies or escrow offices or real estate attorney offices. Either way, it's still the same approach from a presenting value and follow-up standpoint. So I'll start out, first step in the process, prospecting offices. How do I determine where am I going to go? So that's going to depend a little bit on your business, what you're comfortable with from a driving perspective, right? So if you're comfortable driving 30 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours from your house, then that radius of offices gets bigger and bigger and bigger that you're going to eventually target. So let's just say, for example, you're comfortable driving 2 hours in a circle from your house in any area, and that's your range, okay? That was kind of my normal range when I was a signing agent doing signings strictly. So what I would do is I would start and go on Google, and I have a separate training on this I'll upload in a different video where it's me screen sharing my exact process on Google. It's a little dry, but it's very detailed. But starting on Google, pick the closest city to you that has any kind of population to it. And then you're just gonna go to Google and type in title companies in X city. So for me, I'm in Harford County, Maryland, so I said title companies in Bel Air, Maryland. And I would hit enter and then click on the full extensive list, and it would show me a few different pages, depending on which city it is, more if it's a big city, less if it's a smaller city, all the title offices in that area. So then what I would do is actually go and from start to finish, I would go down the list. So first office, I'm gonna look at and see, are there any Google reviews? So if there are no Google reviews, it's probably not a real listing. It may be a sponsored ad at the top. You can ignore those. If it says sponsored, that's probably not a real office in that area. And then I'm gonna look for Google reviews. So if they have Google reviews, good sign they're a real business. Number two, if they have a lot of Google reviews, good sign they've been in business for a long time. On the Google page, it'll say X amount of years in business, roughly. So that's a good indicator. So for instance, if they have 10 plus years in business and they have 85 Google reviews, then that's probably a legit business that I would want to talk to. Now, at the same time, if they've been in business 10 plus years and they only have 6 reviews, that's a little concerning. I would click on that review and see the most recent one. And if the most recent one wasn't from this year, I'd be concerned it's probably not real. But to be sure, I would just pick up the phone and call the number on the Google page just to confirm if a real live human being answers the phone and it is that title company, that would determine whether or not I'm going there. Because obviously, if it's not a real place, you don't want to waste your time, your gas, your energy, stopping, parking, walking up to the office and realizing they're not there. So once I have all the offices in that particular city that I want to hit, let's just say that number is 20 offices. Great. So that's a perfect number. So where am I going to go first? So personally for me, if I'm going in that area, I want to hit as many offices as I can. However, you always want to hit the offices that are going to give you the best possible return on your investment, meaning you want to go to the busier offices, right? So if you're going to snag direct work, you'd rather snag direct work with the title office that's doing 200 closings a month versus 45 closings a month, right? So they have more potential business to send your way in the office, surrounding areas, and maybe out of county. So how do you determine that? So one way is the Google reviews. Really easy way from a high level. The higher number of reviews they have means they've been in business probably longer, and that's probably who I want to start with. But you can also click on their website, also on the Google page, and see, do they have multiple offices? And then you can see their staff. Do they have 3 processors, 4 processors? Like the more processors, the better, because each processor is handling, 20, 30 files at a time. So obviously the more processors, the better. That's a good sign. And using those 2 things, I can determine, okay, which are probably the busiest offices, and then I'll rank them. So 1 to 20, who do I think is the busiest, the second busiest, the third busiest, and whoever the top 5 people are, or top 10 people are, however many offices I'm going to go to that week, that's who I am targeting in that order. So that way, I'm getting a faster return much faster. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna hit the other 10 of those 20 that are less busy, I think, but I'm still gonna hit them. I'm just gonna hit them next week or the week after. I'm gonna go in order of who I think is gonna be busy. So that's how I prospect from a high level standpoint. Check their website. And the reason you also want to check their website, you want to see who you're going to ask for when you go in the office. You want to ask for a decision maker. So it's typically going to be the owner, the attorney, the managing attorney, or operations manager, ops manager. And then if you don't see any of that, you can also ask for settlement officer as well. But usually they're not going to be the top decision maker. They'll have some pull in who they choose to outsource their closings to, of course. But obviously you'd rather impact the higher level decision makers in the company. So if they don't have those listed out on the website, a very easy hack is to go to LinkedIn, type in the title company name, go under people, and then it'll list everyone that has that company associated with their LinkedIn profile. And you can see the different roles they have. Are they an owner? Are they a founder? Are they a scheduler? Are they a processor? Whatever their role is, you'll see it. So that is a good way to cross-check. So you know when you go into the office who to ask for. So prospecting, that's my method using Google, sorting by reviews and how busy I think they are, checking their website, and then also checking LinkedIn to verify who I'm trying to look for. Now, when you're going to the offices that day, let's say you're going to see 5 offices in Bel Air, Maryland, the top 5, what are you taking, right? So what to bring. So this is going to vary depending on your style. My suggestion is you could walk in with, on the low end, just your business card. Now, in my experience and many other people's experience, you're not going to get as well of a reception if you interrupt their day and you're not really bringing anything of value other than what you're going to, potentially pitch them, right? However, if you bring in something, maybe it's baked cookies, or maybe it's some pens, or maybe it's a flyer, or maybe it's, a marketing basket, which is what I bring. I bring in a marketing basket. I just go to Dollar Tree and Walmart. I'll get the bowl, and then I'll put in at the Dollar Tree, 5 to 10 ingredients, whether that's sweet and salty snacks. Try to mix it up, try to get bright colored packaging and whatnot, and a little bit of everything. Marketing basket wrap, and then a big bow. And then in the front of the bowl, I also put a couple business cards taped and paper clipped in there, and/or a flyer in the bowl, and or both. So that cost me 10, 12 bucks. Just takes time to put together, not a big deal. And you don't have to go that, not that that's high end, but you don't have to go that level. As long as you're bringing in something of value, you can go much smaller. But I bring in 1 marketing basket per office that I'm going into because I don't know how many people are there physically in the office. A lot of people work remote. So I'm always going to bring them something. And the purpose behind this and the reasoning is because it's kind of like the law of reciprocity. If you ever heard of that, is that when someone gives you something, we feel an obligation, a debt to give them something back. So it's the same logic where you go to Costco and people are handing out free samples of something, you feel obligated to potentially buy that. Even though they're only giving you 20-cent sample, you feel obligated to buy the $20 crab cake in the freezer aisle because you had 3 samples and you loved them. So it's the same thing. The law of reciprocity is if I'm bringing you in something of gratitude to show that I appreciate you taking a second to stop your day for me, I just totally interrupted you, and I'm just trying to get with you for 5 minutes and just chat about your business. And I appreciate the fact that you're letting me do that. So here's my appreciation. I'm walking you with it up front so that not only yourself, but the other people in the office can benefit from that. So I'm leaving some goodwill as well. So it's a very effective strategy. It's worked incredibly well for me over the years. So would strongly recommend you bring in something of value. It does not have to be what I do, but something. And then what are you going to say? This is important too. So when I first started marketing, I would always talk about how great I was and how awesome I was. And I see it a lot when I read signing service bios and profiles from notaries. They talk about, I've done 1,000 signings, I've taken these different training courses, I have a mobile printer, I don't make mistakes and errors in documents, I do this, I do that. Great. What the person you're talking to is thinking is, who cares? How does that benefit me? Because honestly, that's all we care about as humans. We want to know what is in it for me. It's selfish, but it's how we're designed. So you want to talk about the benefits to that potential client, not why you're great or your features, right? So in other words, a car, if you're a car salesman, you don't want to talk about, well, it gets 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. You want to be like, you can sprint ahead of everyone on the freeway and drive at your own pace and no one's going to be near you. You can have full reign of the road. You want to paint the picture, the Maui, paint the vacation. Don't talk about the car itself, the features. You want to talk about the benefits to them. So when it relates to marketing at title offices, when I walk in, I'm bringing the marketing basket in my arm, smiling ear to ear, and I come in, I just keep it real simple. Hi, how are you doing? I'm Brad. I'm a notary signing agent, just dropping off this basket of goodies for your team to help brighten up your day. And that's it. And then they're like taken aback. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Just think if someone walked into the room you're sitting in right now watching this video and they brought you a dozen donuts or whatever your favorite snack is. You'd be like, that's great. Thank you so much. It's the same reaction everyone gives me. It's a smile. They appreciate it. And it's curiosity. They're like, okay, who are you? And then, which is usually what they say. I'm like, who are you with? Are you here for a closing? Like sometimes they think I'm a realtor when I walk in. So I'm bringing a marketing basket and they're assuming I'm bringing it for my client. Glad you asked. I'm a notary signing agent, and I would love to email you my references and credentials to be a resource for your team. When your go-to in-house team is busy, or your local closers are busy, or they're double booked or on vacation or sick, and be happy to help out when needed. Who is the best person to email those credentials and references to? Oh yeah, that'd be the owner or decision maker. Here's his or her business card. It's usually right there on the front desk. And fantastic. Hey, is Sally or Jesse available today? Can I chat with them? And again, if you're bringing the basket and you're being kind and courteous to the person you're talking to, usually that will buy you that chat. But that conversation's got to go well. So you want to be incredibly friendly. You don't want to overlook them. You don't want to view them as a gatekeeper. You want to view them as this person can make or break this transaction, or this, I should say, start of the relationship building is how I should say it and phrase it. But I need to be incredibly nice to them, because they are. They're going to talk about you when you leave to the decision maker, like, were they nice? Were they not nice? So you have to treat them with utmost respect, of course, like any human being. But some people I hear in the community will be like, oh, well, they're just kind of the gatekeepers, so I'm just really concerned about getting past them. And that's a terrible strategy. You want to talk them up. So not only do I do that, but now I'm coming in from the notary signing agent side, but then as a signing service owner, my questions and pitch are a little different. But either way, you want to ask questions about their business, right? You want to ask questions. So as a notary signing agent, some important questions to ask would be, great, do you currently use local closers to take care of your out of office closings when they pop up and you're double booked? And everyone does. If they don't, they're incredibly slow, and that's not a good fit for you anyway, but unlikely. And say, yeah, great, perfect. Because you want to acknowledge the fact that they already have those closers. You don't want to make it weird. And plus, sometimes that'll be an objection. If you're a signing agent, they'll say, oh, well, we have local notaries that we love working with already. Of course you do. You know, I always acknowledge that. Of course you do. You were in business before I walked in. So I already know that. So I usually will preface the conversation with, when I was a signing agent, I would love to be a potential resource for your team when your local notaries, your local closers aren't available. I would love to be a resource for you. I'm already referencing them and paying homage to them. That way they know that I know that they're there, and they can't use that on me anyway as an objection. So, and then the next thing I'll say is, great, what do you love about those closers? What do you absolutely love and appreciate about them? And they'll tell you what their favorite things they do. Maybe it's because they hand drop the docs every single time instead of using FedEx or UPS. You know, maybe it's because they walk the signers through the documents. Maybe it's because their customer service is amazing. You know, whatever it may be, they will tell you what they love. So make a mental note of that. And then you want to say something like, hypothetically, what, if anything, could be improved? And now you're trying to listen to what they would like to see improvement, and that is their pain point. And once you know their pain point or pain points, you want to present them the solution, which is you, for those specific pain points. Don't try to bring up anything else. So in other words, if the conversation goes like this, great, you have local closers, what do you love about them? And they'll say, I love that they drop docs off hand delivered after the closing, right to me. I don't have to use a FedEx label. That's awesome, cool. Hypothetically, what, if anything, could be improved with those closers? Well, it's challenging when it's like, it's far away. It's in Ocean City, or it's in Western Maryland, or it's in Southern Maryland. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Like, not everyone wants to do it. And that's their pain point. And I'm saying, I'm not selling at that point. I'm just presenting the solution. I totally get it. I completely agree. I love driving for my clients because I understand that their time is valuable and they need to be spending time growing and building their business, not necessarily working in it and doing every single closing, even though they want to. So that's why I'm a great resource, because I'm willing to drive 2+ hours all the way around and not increase the fee, keep the fee the same, because I understand that I'm an extension of you. And if I can save you time and be valuable in that way, I'm happy to do it. And of course, I also hand drop those docs as well. So I'm presenting myself as a solution to their problem, number one. And number two, I'm reinforcing the positive behavior of the current closers they have, the hand dropping docs. So I'm doing that as well. So either way, I'm going to ask them questions and then present myself as a solution to them. And then again, the conversation should wrap up maybe after about 5 minutes or so, just talking business. How are things going? And you always want to let them know that you are very aware of what's going on in the market and you speak the language. So in this case, whatever things are doing cyclically, you want to talk about. Hey, I know rates have been dropping recently, the last 6 weeks. Hopefully that's picked up in more contracts for you, and maybe a sprinkling of refis and HELOCs for you, and just talk about their business and see how help improve it. And then of course, if you get any additional information from their website, this is why you scour their website, so you can ask these questions or make reference to these things. You can talk about things that maybe recent awards they've won, maybe events that are coming up for them, maybe certain charities they love to donate to if there's a connection there. So you can bring all this up if you do the research ahead of time on LinkedIn or on their website. So that's the conversation. And then when I leave the office, thank you them so much, shaking their hand, making great eye contact. Thank you so much for taking a minute to chat with me about your business. And I'll shoot you an email later today to follow up and, with my references and credentials. Pleasure meeting you. Have a great day. And then as soon as I leave the office, before I drive to the next office, there's a few other things we got to do. So afterwards, what do I do? So when you get in the car, you've got all this information you just got from that conversation with them, right? It's floating around sign on your head. It's going to go into the ether unless you get it down on paper. Or what I prefer is I use a CRM, customer relationship manager, and that stores all my contacts. So when I have a new contact, I've got the new business card, I go into my CRM, I open my laptop, turn on the hotspot on my phone, so I can go to the internet, add the contact in from the business card, put notes about that conversation, everything and anything that I can remember about their business, what they like, what their niche is, what kind of clients they have, how many local notaries they have, like whatever, everything. In my case, I'm a signing service owner, so I'm, referencing like also who do they use for their signing service, what do they like, what do they don't like, all those things. So the notes are there for later as a reference. So when I go to market to them in the future, I have that as a reference to fall back on. That's number one. And then number two, after they're in the CRM, I also will go to Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn and add their company, not the individual, but their company. I will look them up and follow them, and also comment and engage with the most recent 2 or 3 posts they have, depending on how frequent the posts are. Usually it's very infrequent from title, but hopefully more frequent, so I can comment, like, and engage, so they can see me on those 3 different platforms. And that way, after I have left the office, not only do they have my marketing basket with my flyer and my information and my business cards living in their kitchen as people are snacking on their stuff, and they have the contact info, and they're chatting about me anyway. Then when they go to check their socials or add to their socials or engage with the comments that are coming in, they're from me. So they see me again on social on 3 different platforms. That's assuming they're on all 3. Some title companies are only on 1, but I cover those 3 as my main 3. And then I will also go to LinkedIn besides the company, and I will connect on LinkedIn with the person or persons I met. Because then it's not weird, because we physically met in person. You should know who I am by now. And then I'm connecting on LinkedIn. It's not weird, and that we have that connection. As soon as we're connected on LinkedIn, it's going to show them all my posts and all my social content that I post on LinkedIn. It will automatically be pushed by the LinkedIn algorithm to their feed, so they'll see me again even more. So that's my strategy. I won't go and add them on Facebook or LinkedIn until we have more of a deeper connection, but that's also a good strategy, because especially on Facebook, if you have a lot of mutual friends because you're in the same industry, you know a lot of the same people, that's powerful too. So that helps you with your credibility. So that's what I do afterwards. Put them in the CRM and then follow the company on social on those 3 platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then also lastly connect with them on LinkedIn. Then I drive to the next office. And then when I get home, as far as follow-up, what does follow-up look like? So that day or the next morning, I'm going to send them an email that says, that's titled in the subject line, gift basket. And it will say either, if I met them, it'll say, it was a pleasure meeting you and everyone else I met. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to chat with me about your business. I truly appreciate it. Enjoy the goodies and treats for the team. Just as a reminder, and then in a couple sentences, I'll talk about some of the things we talked about, my value adds. And at the last part is looking forward to serving your team in the future with excellence. I'm looking forward to serving your team and assisting with smooth settlements, or something simple like that, where I'm assuming the sale that we're going to do business together at some point in the future. And then at the bottom, I'm going to attach my references. So title companies that I work with, or settlement officers or owners and their contact info, or both. That way they can check the list and see, okay, I know this company and this person. Let me reach out and see how Brad is to work with. And then also my credentials. So if I'm a notary signing agent, I'm also going to email them my errors and omissions policy, my notary commission. If I'm in Maryland or Indiana, my title producer license. And I might also send them a W-9 as well. But the W-9 is I don't usually always send that, because then it's really assuming the sale, because you don't really need that until I'm going to pay you. And we haven't done a closing yet. So I'll usually send them everything but the W-9. And once they start working with me, I'll shoot them the W-9 for accounting purposes. So they have that so they can pay me correctly. And that is the follow from the initial email. If I didn't see them, that decision maker that I'm emailing that I got the business card for, the email's a little bit longer. It's more to the tune of, hey, I dropped a gift basket off for your team yesterday. I had the pleasure of speaking with whoever you spoke with. They are a great asset to your team. I love chatting with them. I just wanted to introduce myself, and this is going to depend on your state. I'm in Maryland, so I'm a licensed typic, or I'm a commissioned typic in Maryland, or a mobile typic in Maryland. And I service 2 hours across most of the state of Maryland, and talk about some of the value adds, the benefits to them, and then attach them my references and credentials. And trying to continue to connect. And then follow-up afterwards is typically on at least a weekly basis via email. As far as follow-up, for me, it's usually on Mondays for my clients and Tuesday mornings for my prospects I'm trying to make clients. And then after that, follow-up is going to be also, besides the weekly via email, you can do monthly touch points in person, saying kind of the same thing you said last time. Hey, I'm here for you. Can't wait to work with you. And then reference the things you talked about before, and/or the same thing over the phone. So you can leverage that a little bit better. And that is my process from start to finish, from how am I figuring out which offices to go to? What am I bringing? What am I saying when I get there? What do I do as soon as I leave the office? And then how does my follow-up cadence look like on a weekly basis? So that has helped grow my business from part-time at the very, very beginning to full-time signing agent to signing service owner, and with many, many title clients under my belt, always trying to add more, always trying to grow the business so we can impact more people's lives, both on my team and the title company clients we have, and of course the end signers as well, because those are big moments in their life too. So I hope this video brought you some value on what to do as far as working with direct title companies, so you can keep more of the fee for yourself instead of chopping up, some half of it to the signing service. So I encourage you to do that. There's plenty of business for everyone. So if you're in Maryland, you're not bothering me if you watch this, so I hope you implement some of these strategies that work for you. If there's anything in here that you need clarification on, please ask in the comments below. Just ask a question, or if you have any feedback, what works, what doesn't work for you, or what you like or don't like, love to hear it in the comments below. That'd be great. And then if you like the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel if you want more business tips, entrepreneurship, investing. We cover a whole bunch of it. So until next time, peace.